This conference will now be recorded.
Taste test. They're gonna have pizzas and pasta. So pretty authentic. All their pasta's coming from Italy. A lot of different seasonings are coming from Italy. So
Nice. Sounds good.
yeah, it's gonna be good. I told Johnny, I said, why don't you open a pizza place here in town?
It'd be good.
Yeah, that one still works that way. Coffee mill at all?
Yeah.
Because I had a phone call. Shannon Joe Jackson called me. Shannon. Oh, Shauna.
Charlotte?
Shauna.
Sean.
Shane's wife.
Oh, I'm thinking of Charlotte's sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was she bitching about? Oh, the parking. Because I guess one of the tenants of her apartment has been parking in right off Main Street for more than 2 hours. And Connie has called and complained. Well, so she called me and left a message. I was working, so I called her back 2 hours later. Left her a message. She called me, left me a message. I called her, so it's 4 or 5 o'clock. I called her and left her a message. Haven't heard anything from her. So, you know, she's not a fan. I'm not
spending
saying
money
her.
on the new glasses.
No, I just wondered if she had said anything to you about
She
that.
did not.
Well, they did all the design work.
You had to go get them.
I got 6 o'clock. You get
They
that
were
started?
running for.
Call the meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The adoption of the agenda.
Make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second that.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. We'll open the public comment portion. Individuals may address the city council about any items of concern. Speakers must state their name and limit their remarks to 3 minutes. Any public comments? So I will close the public comments portion and we'll jump to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered routine by council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda, be considered in its normal sequence of the agenda.
Approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Accounts payable, Joan.
Okay, I have two notables. One was 1069303, which was Knight Berry Title. That was the pass-through for the KB Apartments in the amount of $570,767.43. And then Ebert Companies 83151 was the pool pay request at $41,743.80. And then the Pearson one is 83165 for $28,183.05. But other than that, it was a very normal accounts payable. Does anyone have any questions?
I do, because I wasn't listening. I'm going to be honest. Kim, that Knight Berry title for 570, what was that again for?
Andy Barkman brought him each
Oh,
for
yeah,
that same
okay.
amount. It
Yeah,
came in
yeah.
and then we sent it to, like,
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, because Brian had called me on that, so.
so it was in and out.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember what it was. Sorry, Joan.
That's not a problem. And if no one has any other questions, I would make a motion to approve accounts payable in the amount of $686,697.79.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Joan. New business, resolution 2026-24, approving property tax abatement. Rebecca. If you hold it, there you go.
Good evening, Rebecca Kurtz from Ellers. And this first item approving the resolution for property tax abatement is really kind of a cleanup item. Or as you guys may remember, you did hold a public hearing approving the abatements or regarding the abatements for the swimming pool back in, I believe it was April. And we were able to find a lot of discussion in the notes, and I'll recall going through that public hearing process. And with the resolution that was adopted that evening related to the bond sale, it talked about moving forward with the abatement. However, the bond council has asked that there be a separate resolution to document the abatement in as itself that can be then submitted for the counties. So this is really kind of clarifying some of the discussion and action that was taken when you called for the bond sale initially in April. And then the abatement then is to ultimately address the next issue that we have for awarding the bonds. I'm happy to answer more questions on that, but it's really giving that official resolution authority to do the abatement.
Clear it up.
Clear it up. It's kind of a cleanup item that when we were working on the bond, getting ready for closing, the attorney asked us to do this.
What? No way.
Motion to approve resolution 2026-24.
Second.
Any further discussions or questions for Rebecca? You don't have any questions, Bob?
No,
Okay, Bob?
I understand it.
Okay, Bob.
Aye.
Joan? Kevin?
Aye.
Fred? And I pass it 500. Thanks, Rebecca. Let's go to 6B, Resolution 2026-25, authorizing issuance and awarding the sale of the 4.4 million general obligation bonds. Rebecca?
And I will start with saying thank you for approving that last one because you made this next step a whole lot easier for me. So this morning at 10 o'clock, we did accept bids for the $4,400,000 general obligation bonds to finance construction of the swimming pool. I'm going to go through the results, but before I get to that, I do want to note, the staff had a conversation with Standard & Poor's rating. And I want to say congratulations to not only staff, but also to you as a council. Standard & Poor's assigned a AA- rating for this bond issue and then affirmed that rating for all of your outstanding general obligation debt. And they assigned the stable outlook. So in short, that means you guys, congratulations for the work that staff and you as a council have done to really be prudent and responsible and thoughtful on how you manage the city's finances and debt and overall financial health of the community. For the record and for those that may watch on TV or online at a later date, a copy of the complete report is included in the sale day packet that was distributed. But I do want to make a couple notes of what was written in there and a couple highlights. Standard & Poor's assigned the AA- long-term rating to the city of Zambrota's 2026 A bonds. And then, as I mentioned, affirmed the AA- rating on the city's general obligation debt. This rating reflects Standard & Poor's view of the city's high reserve ratio sustained by positive operating performance, as well as its low debt burden that will remain moderate, inclusive of this new issue. Later on in the report, they do go on to talk about the stable local economy that the community has, the financial performance that has historically outperformed the budget, the reserves that will remain stable at about 60%, surpassing the city's fund balance policy. And then also talking about the low debt and liabilities, recognizing that this is a new issue for the city, but even with this issue, there still is a low debt for the community compared to your peers. So I'm happy to answer questions on that. As I mentioned, the entire report is included in the packet, but again, with the AA minus. Congratulations for the work that all of you as a community have done to have that assigned for this issue and also continue to maintain it from in the past. So the news for today is that we did receive 7 bids. Again, in that packet, there is a list of the 7 bidders that we, or 7 bids we received. Northland Securities out of Minneapolis was the low bid with a rate of 3.8592%. For just a comparison, when I was here at the last meeting and we called for the sale, we had used an estimated rate of 4.3%. So better than what we had estimated. One thing that was a little different, but I will say it's been pretty common in what we've seen with all of our bids recently, is we did receive a premium bid. What that means in very, very simple terms is that the underwriter provided more funds than what we had needed to fully fund the project. And so you may recall what we were looking for total project costs. We had bonded, so we would have total project costs of $4,400,000. Let me back up. With my premium, I'm looking at my wrong number here. Let me get to my old one. At the original one, we had needed project costs of $4,260,200. With the premium bid, we actually received an additional about $192,000. So the amount that is available for the project fund is $4,460,218. With that, we had some different options on what to do with that. And so I had discussions with staff this morning, and it was decided because of the unknown, they decided to keep that money. If we compare the annual debt service from what we had presented when I was here last time to where we are, even though we kept this additional approximately $200,000 or just less than $200,000, because the interest rate is lower, it is a slightly lower annual debt service than what had been presented again a couple weeks ago. And the thought was with some of the unknowns and being early in the project, that additional funding may be beneficial. If when the project is done, those funds are not needed, they can be used to pay debt service, which ultimately would, depending on how that was paid out, could have a one-time impact on reducing the levy, or if you use that roughly $200,000 over time, it could reduce the levy, the debt levy a little bit over whatever period of time. So again, the short of it is your annual payment has remained just slightly less than what was estimated, but you did get an additional $191,699 for the project. I believe we mentioned this last time, but the bonds are going to be callable. So they, while they do mature in February of 2047, they could be paid off or refinanced without penalty in February 1st of 2036. At that point in time, again, if interest rates allow for a cheaper interest, you could refinance them. If you receive significant donations and want to pay them off all or in part at that point in time, you would have that ability. In addition, I believe we discussed this last time too, but as donations come in, to the extent that you're able to, you can always write down the abatement part on an annual amount. And so that would ultimately have an impact or a result of reducing your levy by using any donations that may come in, whether it be in the near or distant future. There is a resolution that was prepared by your bond attorney in the packet, or that was distributed. If you do decide to move forward and award them, funds would be available August 20th. And I'm happy to answer any questions, but Ellers is recommending awarding to Northland Securities with the low bid of 3.85. And again, happy to answer any questions.
Here's a question for you and or Kim. I know when it comes to construction bids, we always have to take the low bid. Do we have to do the same thing on bonds? Let's just say it happened to be Franzen and Bank and they were a .00125 higher. Could we pick them or is it still the same thing? You want to take the low bid? Or the, I mean,
No, yeah,
yeah,
you want the lower.
Yeah.
You're not required to, but again, with the interest savings, that's typically where it goes. I would say that in the example that you described, I think if we saw a situation like that, when we had our discussion earlier in the day with staff, we definitely would let them know that was one of the bids outside of the national underwriter. And I don't know how staff and what the decision would be, but that would be something that we would at least recognize. And we do understand and appreciate those relationships.
questions for Rebecca? Got all that, Bob?
Everything in the packet's memorized.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-25.
I don't like to, but I will second it.
Any further discussions? Bob?
I guess I got one more thing. I know staff recommended that extra 200,000. That's going to cost us roughly about 10,000.
It was roughly yes. So on an annual basis, it was a couple thousand, roughly. Yes.
Or just in case oopses or something goes over, they run into an issue, I assume is the purpose of that.
Yes. And so with that, and we did have, I will say, we had a lengthy discussion about this. By retaining that, ultimately you are paying interest on that. So, and that's roughly a couple thousand annually. With that, when we looked at what was anticipated for the annual debt service and where we are, even keeping that, it is slightly less. But to your point, you do pay interest if you reduce or with retaining those funds.
On that extra 200,000.
I mean, I assume Kim was part of it. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what your taking on that is on that.
I stand cautious about, as you know, cautious about what expenditures we will run into with the pool. I just feel like we're going to have something come up that is going to be a need that we have not foreseen, which is maybe not in the construction part, but in the outfitting of the pool. And so that would be my concern because we really don't have a lot of other places to pull it from.
One other thing to keep in mind too is that we do kind of have a deadline to open the pool, or a tentative deadline, I should say. So maybe part of the reason would be that, we will have to get through the winter, and if something goes wrong, we want to be able to make sure we're still available to open the pool if it were to come that way, I should say. Now, I don't know if that's the case or not, but, more of a just in case, just to tack on there.
Because wasn't there, the talk, the abatement was originally a little bit more than what we needed anyway, for that same reason, in case we run into something?
The abatement is, all of it depends on fundraising. That's really what the unknown piece that is going to drive all of this with the abatement. So if our fundraising goes down or up and stuff, we're going to be able to lower that abatement. That portion of the bond has to be paid for. It has to be a certain percentage over 100% to fully fund it, because you don't always get 100% of your taxes. So it's always a safeguard to keep you funded so you can pay your portion.
Kind of the worst case scenario.
It is the
Something
worst case
happens
scenario, and that's kind of
and we don't have to scramble. We got the pool almost done, but we can't pay for putting the water in the pool. What are we gonna do? So I mean, that's kind of the gist of it, is that we have just in case. We all know how projects go. They run into a problem. We've done it on other construction projects.
Just as an example, the lifeguard suits, all the life jackets, they always have a life jacket day. All those things, they're not there. And those aren't built into the cost of the pool, into the bond. You wouldn't want to pay, so those are waiting. Those are the kind of costs I think we're gonna run into when we get to that point. And I would rather, personally, of course, you're the council, you get to decide, I would rather have a little bit of cushion there for that. I think we've all seen overruns on projects or things that are unanticipated. So.
Yeah.
But it's up, the decision is up to you.
From the perspective that this has been moved down the road on fear of the costs. We're at the point now where trying to make it actually come to life and having this spillover extra, as it were, it's a better case scenario so that we can actually accomplish what we're trying to do. It's been so hard along the way, so.
I mean, the whole process hasn't been ideal. The whole fundraising hasn't, worked out what we kind of was hoping for, but we've gotten there. I feel the community needs the pool to have an amenity for our young kids, for our family, for swimming and lessons. I agree with that just because of expenses going up and the cost that has gone up from the pool from 2025 to 2026, so.
That shouldn't change because of the bid, right?
Sure, but if we run into something different or a problem or buying more lifeguards or buying chairs or we either got to take it out of our budget, which we already have a budget for the pool, but we start taking out of that budget, we may not have money to pay for our salary for our lifeguards or chemicals. So, and I think if we get to a point and fundraising goes very well, in whatever year, we can take that extra and put it towards the debt or put it towards other issues. I'd rather be where we're at now and it costs us a couple $1,000s, which is not ideal, but versus getting short and we're taking from here, don't have that.
Of the full 5.5 million, the couple thousand a year is a safety net for us going forward.
And we'll know where that's gonna be actually next year. Within the year, we'll know where we're at.
I would assume by June 1, when it's all wrapped up and done. And I would think we should have a good idea by November 1, because I assume they've already gone through the digging and I've already had we haven't had that many oops or extras that could have happened. I do know at the grand opening, or not the grand opening, the groundbreaking is the word I was thinking. Scott Schumacher was out there, and there's a lot of limestone. They had to dig a lot and do a lot of work. They knew that, they expected it, but so. So we have a first and a second. Bob? Aye. Joan?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Fred?
Aye.
And I passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Rebecca, for answering questions and all the work you've done on that.
Thank you. Thank you guys for everything you have done, and you'll have money on August 20th. Well, the city, you as a collective city will have money. Thank you.
6C, Resolution 2026-26, resolution appointing Tony Pasquale as Chief of Police for the city of Zumbrota. Miles.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. So this resolution is kind of more of a also a cleanup thing for us to do. I don't know if it's legally necessary or not. We weren't 100% sure, but we wanted to do it anyways because it's kind of a good sign of transition for us as a city. So this is basically just appointing Sergeant Tony Pasquale to act as Chief of Police for the city of Zumbrota moving forward. And we just want to wish our, sincere appreciation for Chief Callahan for all the work he's done with the city over the years, getting us to this point. And we also want to do big congratulations for Tony taking on the role and, providing leadership and a path forward for us. And hopefully we'll be here for years to come. And so this is kind of this is the next step to making this a reality here.
I'll make the motion to approve resolution the 2026.
26.
I'll make that motion to approve that resolution.
Second.
Any further discussions? I just want to say congrats, Tony. Congrats, Chief, on your retirement. I don't know if you've all seen, but he's got a little going away on the 22nd, I believe. Is it 1 to 4? 1 to 5? So hopefully everybody can make it. And Chief likes Ben Franklin's and cigars, so. So we got a motion, a second. Bob?
Aye.
Joan?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Fred? And I. Passes 5-0-0. Congrats, Tony. Reports. Miles.
All right, I'm going to be covering for Brian, so we'll have some things here over the last few weeks. So the first thing that we had was we did the pool groundbreaking ceremony last Monday. So we had a great turnout for that. We're able to get some news there and a lot of members of the community and people that are involved in the project, just to kind of get that kicked off and moving ahead. Second thing this week, we had national.
Before we move on, I just want to thank all the donations, the big donators that were there for the groundbreaking. There must have been 8, 9, 10 of them that were there, the big, but I also want to thank all the donators, community, residents, business owners. So it was good that they all were there. Sorry, Miles.
No worries. Second thing, we had National Night Out this week. So big shout out to Officer Clemenson for all the work she does on that for the whole year, basically, to get this going. I know they had the most people they ever had, according to her at least. So that was great news. And we had a massive turnout, obviously, for that, and able to get out in the community. We know we had a pool stand for fundraising as well that was set up. But yeah, so a lot of great stuff there. Third thing, today, actually, we had the water tower start the process, at least, of being demolished. So had some calls from the community about that, and then we had some notices go out, obviously on social media. And there was, I think Brian did an interview with KAAL. So hopefully we'll see that wrapped up pretty shortly in the next few days. Next one, this is kind of mine, but I had mentioned before that we were doing the recodification process of getting our ordinances on the website. That process has been going on since last year, if you remember doing that. So I've been working on that, but I have received the proofs that will be what goes on the website. And I'm in the process of reviewing those proofs, and we should be wrapped up. I think they're aiming to get published new year for 2027. It'll probably go out as kind of what the date says right now. I have a deadline until about mid-September to get them wrapped up, and then they'll finish things up. But right now it looks good. It's basically just final edits on it. And you'll see those whenever we get to the final stage before approvals, because you will do the final approvals for that. So more to come on that, but just that's the update I have for that one. Next, just want to update that the primary election is next Tuesday on August 11th. So polls will be open, I believe, at 7 a.m. and I think they're open until 8 p.m. I think that's right. And because of that as well, the Planning Commission meeting will be on Monday, August 10th instead, at the same time it usually is. Last two, water meters are still moving ahead. We're still replacing them. Miranda informed me today that we have about 63 left to do in the town, so getting close to being wrapped up there. And then since the change of the ordinance for water billing, wanted to provide an update on how many email bills we've gotten. We've gotten 200 more since before previously. So I mean, for where we were at, I would say that's almost probably a extra 25-30% increase for where we were at previously. So a lot of help there, which has been good, and we've been trying to get those input as soon as possible. And the fees went out for the first time this month, so we've received more calls since then too, just to get email bills going on that as well. And then finally, did you want to talk anything about Covered Bridge Festival?
I don't have anything new.
Okay, then never mind. Then that's all for me.
No.
Question on the people who signed up, and then you said it was like a 25 to 30% increase. Where does that put us at 4 people who are doing it electronically.
I don't know I don't remember the amount that were doing it before. I'm trying to remember what Miranda had, because the vast majority, I would say, were get their bills in the mail. And that's largely because maybe people didn't know, whatever reason, but that's what it was. But I would say, yeah, this jump, and my numbers might even be underestimating how big that jump percent-wise it was. I just don't remember the previous number. But I just know we've had that 200 increase, but then that also means that our send out bills have gone down we were sending out 3 months ago,
800?
1,100 bills. And now we're sending out 900. So, that's kind of the gap there, in a decrease. So, I don't have the concrete numbers on what the emails were before, but that's just what I know right now.
So a lot of, the way I understand it, I found out later, a lot of people were they were doing automatic withdrawals, but they were still getting a card as their receipt.
Yeah.
But they were already doing automatic.
They were just doing automatic payments. So there's
But
two.
I didn't realize we were still sending our card receipt out for that too.
It's not a receipt, I mean, it's a 2-part bill. It's all, everything's the same. So if they hadn't opted for email billing, that 2-part bill would go on the one they could tear apart. So that.
But they were already getting the automatic
But
payment.
they are, and they can do that. But everybody gets that, because it says auto bill, do not pay. But now instead of getting that, they'll be getting the email bill, which is their receipt, per se.
I think he's questioning like if you were doing an EFT or an ACH. Is that what you're talking about, Fred? That it was coming automatically out of their checking account?
Coming out of their checking account and they were
And
still
then they-
getting a card.
And they were getting it so that they wanted a paper receipt? Is that?
Well,
I don't think they ever canceled it. That's why they were getting it, or they didn't sign up for online billing. So it defaulted to the mailing part. So they can still do the automatic withdrawal and they're still getting the invoice papered to them. They never came and switched it to the email version.
Now they're just getting them switched
So,
so they
yeah.
don't get that
Yeah.
paper.
And it's similar to private corporations too. You can do automatic payments, but you still have to tell them, I want paperless billing or I want email billing. Because they'll automatically just send you the bill in the mail. Because I know that happens to me. So I have to tell them specifically. So. That was all my
Perfect.
report.
Sounds good. Thanks, Miles. There was one thing I was gonna add, but I can't remember. Do you have any report?
I do. Excuse me. The semi-annual full board meeting was in July. I was unable to attend, but Ryan attended on behalf of both Kevin and myself. It's at that meeting that the assessments are set for 2027, the upcoming year. And at that point in time, it was decided that those voting, that the assessments would again increase by $2.50 per cap for the year 2027. And that was essentially what Brian communicated in an email between the three of us.
Perfect. Thank you. Sergeant, my last time I can say that.
Yes, thank you, Council. I had a phone call with Earl Merkowitz. He's our Goodhue County Emergency Manager today. They have been working for a while with the National Weather Service on improving the warning siren system within Goodhue County to make it more regionalized instead of doing a whole county alert. What they were able to work with the National Weather Service and the current capabilities of infrastructure is they're going to be dividing the county into a north and a south warning zone now. So it'll eliminate some of those sirens going off in the whole county when there's severe weather, for example, up in Cannon Falls or Denison. That's not going to affect Zumbrota as it slides across the county. We no longer will have those warnings once this is implemented. With that, a new MOU is going to be drafted. He said to expect that maybe in September. That will come before the council to agree to that. It's going to be our recommendation that we do so, because I think a lot of us get kind of numb in these summer months hearing the sirens going off when we've got a beautiful day, because there's weather in a different part of the county. So it's not going to solve all of the problems. You know, if an isolated cell pops up in Red Wing or in the south area, that's already beyond us. We'd still get those warnings, but it should eliminate some of them for that north part of the county. So that'll be coming again, likely in September.
Thanks, Sergeant. Chief?
Just update, Sergeant Josh Smith is on his own. So he's been trained as a supervisor, so he knows our expectations and so forth. So he starts next week on his own, just as our new chief will be starting his role, and we'll be working through some transitional stuff, and hopefully he'll be ready for the role and I can go off into the sunset. And then last is for National Night Out. It was again a major success. There was over 600 attendees. And so it seems to grow every year. It is very popular. It was perfect weather. And I just have to say, I'm very thankful for Officer Clemenson and her dedication to taking this on. When I started here in late 2014, she told me about the way they do it in Zumbrota, and that Officer Jean had a process, and I thought that was a unique thing, because most often you see them as, you know, neighborhood potluck events, you know, in their cul-de-sacs and so forth. And this was just kind of a neat opportunity to have a big get together with the community, and certainly people are getting together, and it's fun for the kids and so forth. And it's just good exposure to Zumbrota's public safety, and a big thank you to the fire department. Over the years, they've been very essential to making this happen. The manpower that it takes, the volunteer time it takes, I'm very appreciative of it. And they are an integral part of what we've been doing. And so it'll continue to be a great event every year, I foresee. And so many more years of success to Shannon, and hopefully she doesn't give it up. But that's all I got.
Thanks, Chief. James?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Nothing tonight.
I don't believe I have anything else that I haven't said already. Bob?
Nothing tonight.
Joan?
I just want to shout out to the streets department, and I believe it was Pearson Brothers. They did our area, and it was efficient and done quickly and well. So kudos to Jeff and getting a crew together like that did a terrific job seal coating out there. Other than that, nothing.
I'm going to jump in quick before I go to Kevin and talk about the street guys. I was at a residence, I don't know, last week, like at 5 o'clock, and here comes Ronnie and Jeff. I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're installing a water meter. This resident had texted me and said, was all concerned and didn't want to do it. And I explained to them the benefits. That's why they were there. So I just wanted to give a kudos to them working after hours to fit in a resident's time to redo that. So, and it was Ronnie and Jeff, and it was 4:45 or whatever. So Kevin.
Now that you guys stole my thunder, I'll still say it, but also shout out to the Public Works for just their dedication, especially with this transition on the water meters. Just they're steadfast, they're answering the questions, they're going above and beyond and doing research and making sure that our residents are getting the best value for what the service that they're providing. So just huge shout out to them.
Brett?
Yeah, I got a question. But back to when we were talking about options of this abatement for the pool, and it was just brought up that, and at one of our meetings, it was brought up that if we do the abatement, there always could be a possible that you could go to the school or the county, what do they call that, to forgive their portion of it?
They can choose to participate.
Or choose to participate. That was at our meeting. I came down and talked to Brian about that, and he explained that to me, and he said, well, we probably wouldn't do that to the school or whatever. And I said, well, that's good, because then if we were going to do that, I probably wouldn't vote for it. But then, I don't know if it was a week later, we went to the school board asking for that. Is that usually a council decision to ask the county and the school board to do that?
I don't know, did he do that? I mean, I
I
don't,
think he talked to Ryan, I don't know if he went to the meeting, I'm not sure.
It was at the meeting.
School board meeting.
Yeah, because I heard about it.
okay.
That's why I'm wondering whose decision it is. I mean, if I'm gonna hear about it, I wanna make a decision on whether we do that or not.
He can always ask, but I think it's up to the council to accept it or not. Let's say the school board says we'll donate 50,000. We as a council has a right. He can still go out and ask, because maybe they have money sitting somewhere extra for stuff like that. So.
I think it was part of the bonding process too, to say we're going it alone because the school and the county are not participating.
And I don't, did he really ask out there? Or he just, did he just mention? Yeah, I don't know.
He did ask.
Did he?
Yeah, I was-
Okay. Do you have anything on that? Okay. Is that it, Fred?
Nope.
Meeting adjourned.
Fred, where's your next trip?
How about grandbabies?
Traveling retiree.
Oh, no.